While KG fixes
Okay,
some of his stuff, like I said, we're going to give
I'm
away some
ready.
internet money tokens. And for those of you that don't know, it's currently on the Binance Smart Chain. And when Pulse Chain goes live, IM token will also be on Pulse Chain. But if you want to get some, you got to get it on Binance. But I had a few duckies and I got a bunch of internet money tokens and I want to give some away. So we're going to give away 42 million internet money tokens
Let's
to
go.
some people tonight. How about like 21 million to two people? That would give a total of 42 million. So two people tonight in the chat. All you have to do is obviously like and subscribe to this channel, but please, if you can retweet this out or share it out on Twitter. Everybody that shares this, two of you are going to get 21 million internet money tokens. And the cool thing about that is you get a copy on Pulse Chain, right, KG?
Yes, correct.
Okay. So people will have 20, these two people will have 21 million IM tokens on Binance and 21 million on Pulse Chain. And the rate this thing is climbing, man, whoo, we need to dive into that and talk a little bit too, because the internet money dividend token was something separate. And if this is someone's first experience with KG, internet money, the internet money dividend tokens, SAC phases, it can be a little bit confusing, especially since there was so many SAC phases going on in the Pulse ecosystem. Can you explain to people just a real quick breakdown of internet money, dividend, and then we can get into the SAC phase?
Sure. So, Internet Money Dividend is the first token of its kind. If it's not, it's proven wrong, but I can't find it anywhere else. So, our team is creating native Pulse wallet. And by native, I mean automatically connected to Pulse Chain when you download it. Wallet to charge fees in the form of Pulse when swaps occur on the Pulse Chain within the wallet, like MetaMask does. Now, unlike MetaMask, we've created a token, Internet Money Dividend, or IMD. Holders of this token are going to get a portion of the fees that the wallet generates. So by holding IMD, you earn passive income in the form of Pulse.
Okay. Wow. So that's cool in itself. You can have internet money tokens, you can have a dividend token, and just by holding that, you're going to gain Pulse because we get to kind of enjoy the fees in the wallet. So this is a native, basically it's a Pulse Chain Pulse wallet on Pulse Chain. Do you know, is this the first one or the only one that's going to be on? Have you heard of others?
So as of right now, we appear to be the only dedicated to building a Pulse Chain wallet. So we very well could be the first to market and the first to actually do this.
Okay. Wow. So we got Pulse Chain, PulseX, internet money, dividend token. Then I was talking to guys at Liquid Loans. I think people that are already in Pulse and already in Hex and stuff, we understand what's coming. But for people who may be in kind of the outer crypto world that may not understand Pulse and PulseX and all the stuff we're creating, can you kind of touch on how unique all this stuff is? We talk about it kind of in-house, preaching to the choir all the time, but I really think this is going to be the best blockchain in all of crypto. And I was saying it may take to the end of the year, but definitely by 2023, everybody that had the system state, and you're looking at your system state copy over from Ethereum, when you look at all of those tokens, and you may not know about Pulse Chain, but suddenly you hear about it and you're like, I got my SHIB and I got my ETH and any kind of ERC20 tokens. The popularity of Pulse Chain, I think, it's not going to take years and years. I think this is going to be really, really unique, and it's going to take hold and catch fire this year, 2022. I don't think it's going to take long. A lot of other cryptos took years to kind of get going and create a community. Can you kind of touch on that as far as, do you agree with me, first of all, that you think this is going to be one of the biggest blockchains within the first year?
I do agree with you on that. And I agree because, like you said, people have reason to come over to the chain, not just transaction speeds, not just not just transaction speeds or anything like that. People have reason to come over because they're getting all these free. So even if they come over just to dump, they're going to come over to the chain. And they're going to know about Pulsechain. And it could be the ultimate marketing technique. Give people free stuff. They come over to dump it. They say, dang, that was cheap. That was fast. Now maybe we convert a lot of people to the chain. So I think ultimately, yeah, a lot of adoption on Pulsechain in the first year, as well as we already have a core community of at least 150,000 people if we're sacrifice set.
Yeah, and we mentioned Pulse X, and I kind of go back and forth as far as like what do I think is going to do the most X. And it's funny because if you own Hex, Internet Money, and Pulsechain, and PulseX, and Liquid Loans, hopefully by this point, before Pulsechain is launched, people kind of figured out all these, really great tokens that are going to be on Pulsechain. You may have already got a bag, but I was looking at Twitter right here. I hope you guys can see this. I don't know how I can make it even bigger, but KVK Crypto mentioned about Pulse X, and he said buy and burn bumped up from 0.06 to 0.07, an almost 15% increase in buy and burn. Per $1 billion of volume per day, we will experience 700,000 extra buy pressure just from PulseX. And it kind of puts stuff in perspective as far as, like I said, how unique this ecosystem is. I was really big on Pulse, and obviously Hex will get 2 copies, but I was thinking the PulseX, I kind of go back and forth, Pulse and PulseX, because this PulseX is deflationary. They're going to be less and less pretty much every day. And he's saying that there's, for every $1 billion in volume on the actual PulseX, which is Pulsechain's exchange, $700,000 for every billion. And I think we can get to that $1 billion of volume per day probably within the first year, if you're going by what Uniswap and stuff does. 700,000 extra buy pressure just in PulseX. That's crazy. That makes me so bullish on not only Pulse, but PulseX. So if you get a chance when Pulsechain goes live, I just want to personally encourage people. I try to do this almost every stream and video I make. Look into this before it goes live. Try to educate yourself, because once it goes live, there's so many options of what we can do with Pulse and Pulsechain and Liquid Loans and people taking advantage of this. I don't want people to look back a month or so from now and regret not at least understanding this enough when it goes live the first time to take advantage of all the things coming. Have you decided like where you're going to put your eggs and what basket you're going to do as far as Pulsechain and liquidity stuff or staking? Have you researched that and kind of got a game plan?
Sure. So my ultimate game plan right now, it may seem very basic. It's literally going to be to just hold up front, let the dust settle, see how everything works out. Sure, I may miss out on some early opportunity with staking or delegating my Pulse, but at the same time, I would rather just see how these systems play out when a lot of users start to utilize them. I don't want to put myself in a position to get any kind of wrecked, and I'm not saying anyone's going to get wrecked by utilizing these mechanisms, but I want to hold, let the dust settle, reassess. In the early days, I don't have a long-term play with my Pulse and my PulseX right now because I don't know what it's going to look like. I have to see how it evolves.
Yeah, it's definitely exciting. I've been in crypto a long time, and I thought I was so excited for Hex to launch, and I was. It was crazy. It was so detailed, and to me, it was so difficult to learn and understand. And once you get some traction and a few months behind you, I always wondered, this wasn't that difficult. Hex is not super complicated. It sounds like it when you first look into it. And like during the adoption amplifier days, I talk about this a lot, how it seemed really, really complicated because it was so well thought out. And the tokenomics and the fundamentals Richard Hart talks about, there was a lot of game theory in Hex. And I can only imagine how much that's going to increase with Pulse and the Pulse ecosystem and all the things that are going on. It's just going to be fascinating to see how this plays out in real time over the first couple of months, because I'm sure, within 30 or 60 days, we're going to see probably a pretty good drop in the price and a really good chance to grab a hold of some Pulse, because some people that got into Pulse and grabbed a lot during the sacrifice phase may take some profit when it's a, 5, 10, 20x. And, I talk about that a lot in legacy finance. I mentioned it a couple of other streams that a 10x or a 50x or something in legacy and stocks or your portfolio or whatever at your bank, that's huge. But in crypto, a 10x or even a 100x for me, as far as Hex and Pulse, I'm not going to budge. I'm not going to sell one Pulse. So I think a lot of people may do that because they're not used to these kind of gains. And if they see,
Sure.
your Doge or something go up in 10, 20% in a day, a lot of people sell. So when they sell, is a lot of people are going to be gobbling up these Pulse tokens. And something else on the Pulse chain is liquid loans I'm pumped about. Have you made a decision as far as liquid loans? You going to partake in that too?
Yes, I play with liquid loans. Is big support. Love liquid loans. Love the team. I'm going to utilize the loan token the heaviest, and utilize the staking there, and actually more Pulse. Because for me, my game plan is get as much Pulse as possible, and I'll eat my own shoes before I sell my Pulse. Because if you wanted to realize the ultimate gains in Ethereum, you had to hold for 6 years. So I want a dollar cost average and acquire as much Pulse as possible. DCA down, of course.
Nice. Everybody in the chat, if you got any questions for KG, I got a few more things I want to talk to him about and kind of go back and forth, rub some elbows here. But if you got any questions for KG about internet money or the dividend token or SAC phase or anything that's going on with what he's doing and his team, please ask in the chat. I'll go back and look at that, and hopefully we can get him to answer some of your questions. I wanted this to be a fairly short stream, maybe 30 minutes or so, just to be digestible for people in commutes or whatever they're doing. So I want to make it short and sweet, give away some internet money tokens, and we'll dive back into what internet money is. But please ask your questions, and I'll get back with you in just a second. Speaking of internet money, so the success of the SAC phase, like I said, it was really impressive to watch that live. I think you were on the Carpet Ride channel. Is that right? I watched that live, and especially the first couple of hours, this was rolling. And the support, it just proves, one, how generous and supportive Hex and Pulse Chain community is, but two, this is not just something that we're like, well, I'm only, here's $100. Let me, help out KG and help out his team. I think people really understand the value of internet money and what you guys are creating, because that was an abundance and just a flood of people getting into this SAC phase because they see how valuable this is. People that may have missed that, can you explain the SAC phase for internet money or the dividend token, how long that was and how successful that was, what you guys raised?
Sure. So it was basically the first time Michael Jordan did his dunk from the free throw line. It was basically that, but in crypto. We, in 1 hour and 54 minutes, our first pool, 2 style sacrifice phase. I won't go deep into that, but ultimately pool A that had a cap of $1.2 million. And so 1.2 million was sacrificed in the first hour. So it went very fast. We had upwards of 300 people watching live. And I think the moment, first of all, our website crashed because so many people loaded it at once. And right. So I had to get on with our developer. I was messaging him while we were on the stream. And so we started using DBank to sort of track funds were coming in and the sacrifices were coming in. And that the Magic Carpet Ride refreshed the page, 357K had already come in, and that was in a matter of minutes. So it just like that, it showed how the community is, how supportive the community is, and how the community believes that a wallet is so this ecosystem. It's absolute honor to be a part of it.
I remember watching that live, and I had a big smile on my face because this is something that obviously I support and I got into, and you and I had a great relationship, but I just want to see things that are good, created by good people that we can trust that have a good teams behind them. I just want to see that stuff really become successful on Pulsechain, because the more things we have on Pulsechain that are good and quality, the more people that it can reach. Because someone that may not be into Pulse or Hex or something may see internet money and the wallet you guys are creating as their shining part of Pulsechain. That may get them into Pulsechain. And if they do get into Pulsechain because of internet money, then there's so much more incentivized to look at Pulsechain, the Pulse native token, the exchange,
Absolutely.
and other things built. So we're going to just grab so many people from different little facets, like the NFT community. We'll touch on that in just a second. Wanted to get your thoughts on that. But I think it's going to grow and grow really, really fast, because I know that Richard Hart is going to, when he does launch Pulsechain, it's going to work great. It's going to be audited pretty soon, and people are going to be really, really excited. So there's a lot of people that will be talking about Pulsechain right out of the gun. There's a ton of influencers in Pulse and Hex that are just chomping at the bit to make their first Pulsechain live video. So I think in the
Absolutely.
first 48 hours, there's probably going to be, 100 YouTubers talking about Pulsechain like instantly in the first couple of days?
Absolutely. Instantly. Like, just look at all the videos that come up and all the views they get just about Pulsechain testnet V2B. And like, you have, say this as a badge of pride, because I'm a crypto nerd myself. You've got to be a crypto nerd to get excited about testnet updates. And look at how many people are following those things. Can you imagine when the
That's
blockchain
a great
gets...
point.
Yeah, it's... I think we're going to see... And another point on that, too, is there's so many people that call Pulsechain scammer, fake, all these things. When Pulsechain actually comes live, where's the FUD at that point? Because it was delivered. Even BitBoy Crypto said that he sacrificed for Pulsechain, but he won't talk about it. So think about it. BitBoy might start talking about it.
Yeah, and that honestly rubs me the wrong way, because the more I watch BitBoy Crypto, and I don't have anything against anybody, honestly, but when you watch channels like him, it makes me wonder, is this guy actually paid to not talk about Hex and Pulse in a nice light? Because he understands, Hex and Pulsechain and Richard Hart. He's had him on his show before. So I'm just curious, does the people that sponsor BitBoy and people that are, have big channels like him, I'm just curious, do they not want to talk about Hex? I mean, it just spoils the whole party if you really mention Hex and his viewers. He's got 1 million subscribers. If they truly understood the benefits of what Richard Hart's doing and creating in this community and Hex and Pulse, it's a disservice to not talk about it. So it really pisses me off that people with his influence don't talk about something that is really, really beneficial to people. And this is a good crypto for you to get into. It's not something that you're going to wonder about with the meme coin of the week or whatever that may pump and you can get out making a little bit of money. But it's not a truly good crypto with a great use case. So it makes me upset that influencers like that have a lot of pull and sway. They can get new people into crypto, and they can push them into projects like this that are really, really good at its foundation, and they don't talk about that. It just bothers me.
Well, sure, I agree, and I think it's because crypto is also political. So it's not just, he could completely believe in Hex, but because Hex in the space is widely considered a scam still, which is mind-boggling, they have to take a political stance and do something to appease. So when you get that big and you have sponsors, you no longer start saying what you truly believe. And that's one thing I really respect about Richard Hart is, first, he says what he's thinking. So I think that, and that could be why he's not as popular as BitBoy, because BitBoy is, as Richard might say, he sucking middleman D all over the place.
Yeah. That's nice. So Crypto Joe had a question. He was wondering, when will the wallet launch, and how far along? Rebecca asked this. We'll get to you in just a second, Rebecca. So Crypto Joe asked, when will the wallet launch?
So right now we don't have an exact date. Best to launch as soon after Pulsechain mainnet as possible. So obviously a big part of our timeline depends on when Pulsechain actually launches.
Okay.
We'll
And
do our best
Rebecca,
to update the community as more fixed timelines come out.
okay. Somebody else in the chat, Rebecca. By the way, welcome to everybody in the chat. I appreciate you, everybody being here. We got over 20 people
Likewise.
watching right now. And we had a ridiculous rollout. I bet the link that we shared on Twitter doesn't even work. I bet it goes nowhere. So if you guys, the people in the chat right now, 21 of you or so, if you don't mind, could you please click on the share underneath us and share this on Twitter? That way people have the correct link that may jump in here. I appreciate that. So Rebecca in the chat, she says, how far along is the wallet development? And also, KG, if you answer her question, can you say, are there any other development things in the future that you'd like to add to the wallet that may not be there initially?
So as far as how far along is the wallet, all I can say at this moment is I have some exciting things buzzing around in my mind, and I can't wait to tell the community about it. So please just stand by. We will be pushing out some exciting updates. And then as far as I don't fully understand your second question. Sorry.
Okay, so like right now, if the Pulsechain went live and you guys are ready for the wallet and it went live right now, the features of the wallet are basically, it's going to be a native Pulse wallet that holds obviously Pulse and internet money. You can, with internet money, you basically buy, sell, trade.
Sure.
The wallet right now, if it was released today, what features will it have? I guess that's a good question to start with. I'll ask you, I'll follow up in a second. What features will the wallet allow you to do?
So we have MVP. Just for those that don't know, the minimum viable product, right? The version 1. What can we not launch out? The MVP is you seed phrase storage education, the ability to import and swap PRC20s, send PRC20s, of course, and this is the mobile app. And for desktop, hardware wallet integration. Now, they've actually come up with some cool info that hardware wallet integration, Bluetooth hardware wallets, may be possible to integrate on. But again, wait for the updates. So MVP, if Pulsechain only gives us a little bit of time, the MVP is probably going to be very basic because, again, we want to be first to market. And not basic in the sense that it's not going to operate, or we still take security very seriously. We're not going to fast forward over any security measures. But as far as like actual user features, it's going to be very basic stuff. MVP. Now, if Pulsechain gives us more time, we're going to come out with some other cool stuff. And over time, in the just being in existence and being a company, we'll come out with all types of cool stuff. And those cool features, of them, it's going to have to wait for the official. I just wish that I could plug everyone into my brain and let you download what I'm thinking, but it has to wait. It just has to wait for the other features.
Hey, and we're a really patient community too. That's something you can always say about Hex and Pulse people. We're really, really patient. I think it goes to the patience that Richard Hart has as far as implementing things. As Hex was, I think it was 8 to 9 months delayed, and Pulse, from everybody's understanding, it feels like it's really, really delayed just because we sacked so long ago for Pulse and PulseX. It just feels like it's taking forever. But yourself, me, people that have been here for a long time, I would much rather he roll out PulseX or Pulsechain really, really well, where it works well and nobody can nitpick this thing. It's not going to fail or drop the uptime where you're so used to 100% uptime. I want him to release this correctly and make sure it's all done before he does so. So if it takes another month, 2 months, I'm totally fine with that. We mentioned the wallets off screen in the green room. How many wallets do people? Well, I guess if you can touch on the IM token and also the IMD for the SAC. Do you know how many people currently own Internet Money from the Binance side?
Yes. So earlier today we had 600 wallets. Now, if that went up since then, it's possible. And 16 of those wallets have 48. We being adopted on a daily basis. That number continues to increase daily. And as far as people who participated in the IMD sacrifice, there was about people. So we have a considerable amount of engaged users.
1,300 people sacrificed for IMD.
And some people sacrificed more than once. Like our top wallet address sacrificed 4 times. So people, as time went on, they wanted to go in harder.
Yeah, and that's the thing about FOMO. I'm guilty of that too. I think I went in twice with the
We all are.
The dividend token as well, because you see people piling into it, and you got pool A and pool B, and I don't want to get into weeds with that, but it makes you FOMO. I had a bag that I wanted to get into it with. Did that right away, and then I'm sitting there watching the stream with you and the Magic Carpet Ride guys, and then it's just pouring in. I think you wanted to raise a total of $1.2 million. And hundreds of thousands of dollars ticking in. I'm like, is this going to be bigger than I thought it was going to be? So I had to go in again. Just shut myself in a foot, got some more, whatever I took, and went in again. So it makes me really bullish. And speaking of bullish, one thing about switching from the Binance Smart Chain over to the Pulsechain is the fact that every internet money token that is bought on the Binance side right now, there's going to be 2 internet money tokens burnt on the Pulsechain side. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay. So I think it's maybe kind of overlooked some people that are looking into this, because what if a really, really big player comes in and buys just a buquantus load of internet money right now? You're burning double that amount when Pulsechain goes live. And if Pulsechain waits another 30 days or so, or 60 days, and we keep hearing about internet money and more people are understanding this, more and more people are going to buy it on Binance to get the copy on Pulsechain, which is only going to burn more internet money tokens. Speaking of that, for people who may not know, what is the total supply of IM tokens?
Of IM tokens, the total supply is 400, and already 22 trillion are going to be burned on Pulsechain, based on 11 trillion being bought on Binance Smart Chain. So, I mean, if Pulsechain takes another 6 months, we may be burning 300 trillion tokens of Pulsechain launches.
Wouldn't that be great? I know if you ever want to wait for Pulsechain, and I don't want to wait. That would be pretty sweet nectar to see hundreds of trillions of supply of that burnt. You'll be biting your fingernails for sure if that happens. So I remember when you and I first talked about this, I think $1 would get you like 70 million IM tokens. Currently today, almost the end of March, what will $1 get you? If I wanted to go buy some internet money tokens right now, what would every dollar I spent, what would they get me?
About 10 times less, only about 6.5 million. And I saw it dip down to, or wick up rather, to $1 only got 5.5 million. So that number keeps getting smaller and smaller, and it's one of my favorite metrics to watch, to see that number.
Yeah, I was going to say it's really fun to watch that. If you go to, let's see, let me make sure I got the URL correct. It's imcrypto.net, and when you go there, you'll see the internet money little symbol there, almost like an 8-bit. Reminds me of like Sega or something. I love it. Throwback to my youth. But you see the IMD token as well. And if you click on internet money, the IM token there, you'll see, I got it on the screen here, $1 will get you 6.8 million IM tokens. Now, if you're looking at this for the first time, that seems like a lot, and it really is a lot. But when you look back at the success of the last few weeks, like I said, just a few weeks ago, 2-3 weeks, you getting 60 to 70 million for this dollar. So it's 10 times less over the last month. So people are looking at this, people are buying it, and dude, I'm excited. I'm really excited to where this is going to be once Pulsechain launches. The price predictions for Pulse and IM. I want to get your feedback on that if you had any. I love giving price predictions. Obviously, this is not financial advice. It's just two people talking. Do you have any idea or any thoughts what you think the price of Pulse and the price of internet money could be, say, 1 year from now, summer of 23? Do you like giving price predictions? Because it always makes me
Well,
hyped up.
so I'm more confident giving a price prediction on internet money because I'm so on the inside of all the inner workings. I know Pulse really well. So okay, so I'll go internet money first. So again, I am a little biased naturally, but so many cool features and pumpamentals coming to internet money that I think over time the price can only go up. And I'll explain why. So users that download our wallet are going to be airdropped a little bit of. The beauty of this is as we onboard crypto, which is like our mission statement, the first token they're going to be introduced to is internet money. So they're going to go from no crypto to knowing internet money and only internet money. As internet money gets adopted for goods and services, it's going to start to exchange hands more and more, and that's what we want. Also with the burn mechanic, right? So that doesn't necessarily take tokens out of circulating supply, but it does reduce the amount of tokens that are in existence, so creating a scarcity. Also, oh my goodness, we came up with this awesome new feature that we're probably going to implement, or may or may not implement. But check this out. We take a portion of IMD, okay? That sits in a wallet, collects Pulse. That Pulse is used to buy internet money off the open market. That internet money is sent to the Vault wallet to be burned. So now we've created our own little buy and burn and tied internet money and internet money dividend together. So over time, money is going to be adopted for goods and services, and more people are going to use it, and it's going to become less and less, or it's going to become more and more scarce. So I think over time, I don't know an exact price, but I think that it's going to become more valuable over time. And we're not even on CoinMarketCap or CoinGecko yet, and they always
Right.
pump hard after that.
Now, so go back. And this is the first time I heard you say that. So if you can implement this, it's going to take, obviously, the fees you get from IMD, the I guess the wallet fees, are in Pulse. Is that correct?
Correct. For
So
IMD on Pulsechain.
there we go. And so, what's the buy and burn feature? Like, how does the tokenomics work behind that, or the logistics of that? Say it again.
Sure. So again, this is a may or may not, because I can't create expectations around this one. But holders of IMD are going to get Pulse income. So let's say the Vault wallet, which holds a majority of the IM tokens that get burned, what if the Vault wallet held some IMD and collected Pulse? What would the Vault wallet do with that Pulse? I don't know. Maybe it would buy some IM off the open market and burn it. Maybe.
God, that would be great. It reminds me of what PulseX is doing. That constant buy pressure.
Yes.
Like no matter what, we know there's going to be buy pressure with the PulseX. Is one of the most bullish things about the entire thing. Knowing that PulseX is going to go, the amount of PulseX is always going to go down. And when Pulse launches, the actual Pulse Chain native token (PLS), there's no inflation. The amount of Pulse that's going to be out there on day one is all it's going to be. So I love it, man. I love the aspects of so many great things all in one chain. It's fascinating. And this is only the things that are gonna happen now. We're talking about. God knows what's gonna happen the first 6 months or a year when people realize that it's 3 or 4 times faster than ETH. The fees are almost free. Who's gonna build on ETH when you had the option to come over to Pulse Chain, where literally everything is better? If you're a builder or a developer, this has got to seem really, really attractive. Speaking of building, KG, do you dabble in NFTs at all?
An awesome NFT project that I'm on.
What is that?
You know, no, I'm not opposed to NFTs at all. I love NFTs, but I haven't really found the project that's called me into that space yet. So
Okay. I've said this many times before. Richard's not a huge fan of NFTs. and rightfully so. I was talking to him at the Hex Expo, and I mentioned the NFT project that we're doing. It's called Atheus, by the way. If you guys want to check it out, I'll leave a link in the description. It's basically
Hex King.
some serious shill here. Basically, it's the history of crypto from Satoshi to Richard Hart as the Hex King. We're telling it kind of in a Game of Thrones kind of medieval vibe. But I mean, Richard and I were talking about this, and he was saying he doesn't want to take people that are in Hex and like Hex and Pulse and have them use their Hex and Pulse or their crypto and buy these JPEGs out there, just silly NFTs, and waste the chance to buy more Pulse or Hex or Pulse related things. And I really appreciate that. Now I understand that. And I rebutted that. I said, what happens if an NFT project like mine, which is Hex and Pulse focused and centric, if we grab a lot of people who are already in NFTs that know nothing about a Hex or Pulse, if we use the Hex King and that's an NFT out there they look at, if that draws them into Hex and Pulse, wouldn't that be beneficial to get everybody in NFTs? Because this isn't going away. People are spending crazy amount of money on NFTs. And if you look at that just for a second, just the gas fees alone on Ethereum are stupid. And some of the NFTs are basically like clip art, and they're selling for thousands of dollars. So if you get that energy and the hype behind NFTs, and you have a Hex or a Pulse related NFT, and you grab that community over to this, I think it's a huge win. Because honestly, I look at it like Richard Hart does his Louis Vuitton, all the silly stuff, and did you see his shirt? Like Beanie Babies on his shirt, and all the watches behind him, Rolex and stuff. He doesn't go out there and loves this stuff. I can imagine him having all this stuff in his house, but he says numerous times he does it to get those communities over into Hex and Pulse. And I would like to use the same thing. Use NFTs like our Louis Vuitton bags, introduce the NFT people to Pulse and Hex related stuff. I think it would be really wise to do that. What do you think?
Oh, I love that idea. And you know, there's an incredible difference between, you know, the punks and what you guys are creating. Like, that art is sick. It's actual legitimate art just turned digital. So I think there's a big, and yeah, I mean, look, the NFT people, they're people too. They've got their money's green or whatever crypto it is. Their money's digital. So let's bring that money into the ecosystem. And if it takes NFTs to do that, let's do it. We want every crypto user over here. We want Pulsechain to be the beast. So yeah, if we could target another sector of people, I'm all for it.
Yeah, and I'm with you, man. And I want to reiterate, I understand Richard Hart's position on NFTs because it's silly at this point how some of this stuff is selling for millions of dollars. It makes no sense. And he's right. It's just a JPEG. It's loosely related to some serial numbers. You can copy and paste and have the same thing. But I really like the idea of real artists putting pen to paper, creating something unique and great, and then making those things limited, and then introducing that to people who really love NFTs, and then having them come to crypto that's really great. So if we can use that, I want to use that, especially, and I like the idea of telling a story about crypto and introducing people to the actual history of crypto, and also allowing what we're doing in an NFT project, we're allowing people to have a say, almost like a DAO. We want the people that buy the Hex King, is only going to be 369 of them. Everybody that buys those are going to become a demigod, and you're going to have a say in where the NFT and the projects going forward go. It's going to be a real comic book series, online and tangible in your hand, a comic book series. So we want the community to tell us what's going to be on the front page of the comic book. What's it going to look like? We're going to do something called the Knights of Hex and have influencers and people that you look up to become knights in this story, male and female. So we want the community to decide with us, have a say, who's going to be the Knights of Hex? Who's going to be the villains of Hex? Where's the story going to go? And that's really engaging. So I'm pumped about NFTs and projects like this, and it rewards real artists. It's not just going out there and making, silly nonsense of a picture. This is real stuff. So it rewards artists for their hard work. Speaking of hard work, I work for some internet money tokens, and I would like to give away 42 million internet money tokens. And this may be painful. Right now, that's not a lot of duckies, but 4 or 5 years from now, I may be kicking myself in a squirrel knowing that I gave away 42 million internet money tokens. But those of you in the chat, I would like to give, we're going to break this up into two people. 21 million internet money goes to each of you. Crypto Joe, you have been really crazy in the chat, brother. I really appreciate you. You are going to get 21 million internet money tokens from me. KG, do you want to pick somebody from the chat too?
You said Crypto Joe?
Yep, Crypto Joe, you're getting 21 million IM tokens from me. And if you pick someone, KG, from the chat, I'm going to send them 21 million as well. So, and I can do this on the Binance chain, or if you guys don't have a wallet like that, just reach out to me at Matty Crypto on Telegram or at Real Matty Crypto on Twitter, and I'll work with you the best way to get you that internet money tokens. But I love doing the giveaways because it provides a little bit of hype during the actual live stream or you're recording, and it rewards people for coming on and giving their time to us. I really appreciate people. I watch a lot of content with Hex and Pulse, and the people who come on all the time, it's flattering, and it's really beneficial to this entire ecosystem for us to give so much of our time and energy to helping each other. So I just wanted to thank people, and sometimes doing these giveaways, get more people to my channel and your channel, and you may look at this video just for the giveaway. And if it gets you here and you are introduced to other influencers, it's a win-win for me. So who else should we give it away to, KG?
My gosh, dude, this is so. I'm looking in the chat right now, and it's like, oh my gosh, there's so many people I want to give it to, and it's for all different reasons. Hexicat out there guilt tripping me. I got my boy Hex gynecologist out there. I think. Oh man, this is too much pressure. I don't know if I can do this, Matty.
It's hard, isn't it?
I don't know if I can.
That's why I wanted you to pick one and not pick one. I'll be a sad panda, whoever doesn't get it.
Okay. All right. Let me think for a second. 1 second. I'm looking.
Take your time. While you're looking to pick one, I just want to tell people that we're living in this life we're living right now. We're in this exact time. I just want you to be grateful, because I'm grateful for this time. And I say a lot to young people. If you're 25 in your 20s or in your 30s, and you've been introduced to Hex and Pulse and the people that are involved with this, you are in such a great time in your life to be living at this exact moment where Hex and Pulse is going on right now. Because imagine if you're 60 or 70 or 80, or you're like Hex 19. The guy's in his mid to late 80s. He's at the sunset of his life, and he's still into Hex because he wants to give back to his family and his kids and his grandkids. And we're setting this up. So I just want everybody, no matter what your age is right now, be grateful where you are right now. The world is spinning right now at this exact time, and we have a chance to get into Pulse and Hex, and it's going to free you of your time. If you use this correctly, how it's supposed to be, nothing is more valuable than retiring, but more important than not working is getting your time back for your family. It is so, so valuable. So just be grateful and surround yourself with good people, and someone's going to be 21 million IM tokens richer. Who's it going to be, KG?
I got it. Okay. So I asked a question in chat. I said, name one is the number. And Nasir Arshadi, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. It's going to you, my friend. Great answer.
Nice. So what's
I couldn't decide.
42. What does that mean to you? Obviously, it's a number that you
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. So, all right. Call me crazy when you prove me wrong, whoever's watching. So the number 42 is a very mystic and reoccurring number in my life. And just everywhere, whenever I have doubts about my life, or whenever I'm out there and I see the number 42, it always appears in the most obscure places. And to me, it just feels like a wink from the creator that says you're on the right path. So it's I hold that number very close to my heart. And so we had to make it a part of the project.
That's cool. We were talking offline before we jumped in here, me and KG, and we were talking about I wanted to give away internet money tokens. I was like, how much should I give away? And thank goodness his lucky number is 42 because he suggested that. What if his number would have been, 200? I would have had to give away 200 million internet money tokens. My favorite number is 3. So I'd have been much more happy giving away 3 million. But I'm grateful to do this. This is honestly, it means a lot to me to give back to people because I've always said, if you win one of these giveaways, whether it's a Hex or Bitcoin or Ethereum, whatever it is, internet money, now you actually have crypto in your wallet. And if you didn't have a wallet, I'd reach out to you and say, download this wallet or Staker or Binance or whatever, MetaMask. Now you're going to have a wallet. You get the experience of downloading a wallet. Now you got community. You reach out to me, I reach out to you, we can talk, I can introduce you to other people, and you're going to consume other content. And now you've got crypto in your wallet. Once you do that, you're much more likely to look into other cryptos and surround yourself with people in Hex who are going to point you in the right direction with Richard Hart products. So that's why I give away crypto like this, because I want you to be involved in good projects and surround yourself with good people. So anything else you wanted to add, KG, before we wrap up, brother?
So in regards to your project, just maybe in the coin per jingle around for everyone in your medieval realm, maybe, maybe
Little Easter eggs.
But I think I've said everything I need to say. I appreciate you having me on, giving me the opportunity to talk about updates. And as time goes on, I'll be able to give more specific updates and not just, but we've got some exciting things coming for the wallet, for internet money dividend. We are working right now to launch our certificate token. Deep dive in that, just a little update for you. We're working on launching CIMD on Pulsechain testnet right now, so everyone can check their sacrifice balances live and in action. Things are, and I feel grateful and honored to be here and a part of this community. It's incredible.
Thanks, man. I feel the exact same way. There's no better place, a group of people I'd rather be around than Hexicans and Pulsicans and Richard Hart products, because a lot of us have become friends. So I've had you on a couple times. I think it's the 3rd or 4th time I've had you on my channels and stuff. So I look forward to having you on when Pulsechain goes live and the wallet is up, and IAM's working, IMD's working, and people have the wallet, and we got 30 days or so to kind of figure this thing out. I want to have you back on and talk about the success, not only of IMD and this stuff you created, but also of Pulsechain as well. So I appreciate you. Thanks for your time. And everybody that's in the chat that bear with us through our trials at the first few minutes, I appreciate you. Have a great day. This is Matty Crypto, and KG will catch y'all on the B side.